Hello friends, and welcome to my kitchen. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. At 11 a.m. I'm gonna come to you right here on Beneath the Surface News with at least a couple healthy recipes for you. I am Julie Brinkley, otherwise known as Motivation with Brink. I'm a local weight loss coach, but more than that, I love good food and I love feeding my family well. So I hope today's recipes are ones that you will add to your favorite list of recipes. Now we're gonna get started right off the bat because I've got two separate recipes and of course cook times and everything else are different. So today we're gonna focus on first another warm, gooey, comfort style food that might surprise you because the flavors are gonna be amazing. But they're gonna be on plan. So those of you that are on plan with me, you know what I'm talking about. Make sure you follow the recipe 100%. It's one of those do as I say, not as I do. If I make a mistake here with protein or measuring, we wanna make sure to follow recipes completely so that the right amount of protein, condiments, and healthy fats are exactly what you're doing. The recipes, speaking of, are all found on beneaththesurfacenews.com. And you can find that on the third page over. She has a wonderful blog called The Crumb, and that's where all of these recipes stay. Now, she will also post my finished photos and recipes later on today, so be sure you stay close. Set your notifications for Beneath the Surface News, and you'll be sure and see it. Now, secondly, I have to tell you, if you'd like to know more about my plan, find me on Facebook. I'm Julie Brinkley on Facebook, Motivation with Brink on Instagram. Find me, reach out. If you are looking for a healthy way to transform your life, I've got an amazing plan for you. So, and if not, if you do not desire transformation, guess what? You still can leave today with two amazing recipes to cook for your family. And quick and easy, few ingredients, family friendly. All those things are what we try to focus on. So we're gonna start off with our smothered chicken. I'm sorry, does that just not sound delicious? It's delicious. It is smothered chicken with spinach and mushroom. Now, I have some very dear friends of mine, a very special person to my heart who can't stand mushrooms. So I'm gonna tell you straight up, for your veggie portion of this, maybe you should finely dice or slice a little zucchini. Treat your zucchini the same exact way we're going to treat the mushroom and sub it in and you'll never know the difference, okay? For those of you that don't mind a little mushroom, you're gonna love this dish. But we're gonna start off with thin cut chicken breast. Again, I just got the thin cut breast portion. If you do a full breast portion, you'll wanna go ahead and butterfly that chicken breast ahead of time. It's gonna cook faster. All of those things are super, just makes it more efficient, okay? And so I've really enjoyed, I'm just gonna hold one of these up for you. I've really enjoyed using the thin cut chicken breast because I think it stays a little bit more consistent than an unbutterflied one. So we're gonna take the time to go ahead and salt and pepper these chicken breasts. I have the oven preheated to about 375, and actually on the recipe, I believe that's what it actually says too. Isn't that a miracle that because normally, if you know me, you know that I cook everything at 400. And it seems like it does just fine, but you do you. We're gonna get this started in the oven. I've put just a little bit of granulated garlic on this chicken breast, just a simple seasoning. We're not overthinking this chicken, okay? This is kind of the base of the smothered chicken. I have a pre-spritzed, okay, I've just spritzed it with a little olive oil spray, and we're gonna see if my chicken will fit in here. I think it will. If, actually, you know what, I will tell you just a little cooking tip. I should probably move this to a bigger dish so it can have a little bit more room in between. It would probably cook a little bit better, but we're gonna go ahead and stick this in and wing it today. Because as you know, that's how I like to roll. I just like to go. Be transparent, mess up, burn things on the oven often. So any of you that are watching live, be sure and give me a shout out if you see me forget something. But we're gonna go ahead and stick this chicken in. This is how simple it starts, okay? And we're gonna throw it in the oven and hope that we get about 10 to 15 minutes on that chicken first. Now, here's the thing. When I was looking at this recipe, I was like, I don't know that I wouldn't have pan-seared the chicken to half cooked, okay? You're not looking to cook that chicken all the way through on stovetop, but I think I could have seared it in a pan and probably got the same effect. But so be it. It's in the oven now. So when you're looking at this recipe, if your schedule and the efficiency of your night works out better, where it's like, I gotta throw this on the cooktop and get a little bit of a sear on both sides, you could do the same and then transfer it over to a baking dish. Now, the next component of this part of the recipe, this is the smothered chicken. We're gonna go ahead and get the mushrooms started because we want these to be able to get so nice and brown. A couple tips for you. I like to show you a couple tips. On the baby Bella mushrooms. Now, I did pre-wash these. If you aren't gonna take the time, now I pre-washed them, then I kind of drained them on a paper towel. But you will want, it's actually better off, I'm sure you know this, but just to brush off your mushrooms a little bit, rather than soak them, drench them in water, if you're gonna go straight into the pan. Now, if you have time, like I took the time while I was getting some, actually, I'll just be honest, I was cleaning up my kitchen. I have to clean up my kitchen every single Wednesday morning because you guys come into my kitchen. So I at least want you to see a clean kitchen. But so I've taken the time to go ahead and do the sliced Bella mushrooms. Make sure that you don't put them wet into the pan. You'd be better off to brush off the little fragments of dirt than you would to rinse it with water, okay? And here's the other beauty of this little recipe, guys. I know you've seen on my recipes or you've heard me mention things like condiments, healthy fats, proteins, lean, your green is your vegetable. All of those components are super important to plan, but they're also part of your nutrition. Like, even if you're not on plan with me, I don't care who you are. If you don't have 1 single pound to lose, it's part of your nutrition is understanding what type of protein am I using, how much healthy fat should I have to keep a balanced diet. So here's the beauty. Today's healthy fat, guys, that's butter, real butter. Butter is a healthy fat, guys, just in moderation. We've got to learn how to use different types of healthy fat in the right way. This is 2 tablespoons of butter, and it is counting towards our healthy fat. All of those things are measurable on this plan, and that's one other reason that I love this plan, because I'm not gonna lie to you, yes, we have some restrictions. You're not gonna be dining on corn on the cob, carrots, potatoes, pasta, rice. You know that. You know that those are heavy and starchy carbs. But I think you're gonna learn a lot about how do we make real food work for us in a place of getting healthy. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat up my skillet and get this butter into the pan. And just a quick spritz or a swirl of a little bit of olive oil just to mix together. Butter and olive oil does really well together, keeps their consistency better when browning this. Now, the other thing I will tell you, and I didn't know this, but it makes so much sense as soon as I saw it. We are gonna season up these mushrooms, but not until they've already browned. If we were to salt that pan, just a quick little seasoning, before they were good and brown, they would never brown. Who knew? Salt brings out the moisture and then doesn't allow it to do that. So we're gonna get this skillet hot. Again, just to preface the fact, #be nice. You guys know I'm not a professional cook. I'm a professional mom. Like, that's my favorite job in the whole world, is feeding my family. And so I will say, this is my real home kitchen. I don't have a sous chef, although there is someone in there that could help me, but he's at the desk watching the dogs. So the dog doesn't help me this week. If you were here last week, Hoka gave me a little bit of help. No, I'm good. See, I've got volunteers all over the place. Now that would be fun if we could start having a celebrity, sighting right here in the Ville. So we're gonna get those mushrooms started, okay? And the other component, we're not gonna get going quite yet. And while those are browning up, someone who's watching needs to keep their eye on it. No, I'm teasing, I'll watch it. Next up, we're gonna switch gears for a second. While that's cooking, okay, much like in real life preparing for a meal, you don't just do one part at a time. While you've got this going, then you go ahead and fix your salad, or you get ice in the glasses, or whatever you do. We're gonna move on with the second recipe of the day. And the reason this one popped out at me, we have used these before. I've told you before about Fiesta Nachos. I don't actually know if I've cooked them live on Beneath the Surface, but I've cooked them a lot. I've shown them a lot on social media because it's such an easy, quick, go-to favorite right now. These are super trendy, these little sweet bell peppers. Everybody's realizing that that scoops up stuff just like a chip does, and that added crunch is really nice, and you get the nutrients of having some vegetable. So we're gonna use these today, but the reason I wanna show you is a couple things. I am not reminded in a bad way, but I'm reminded every week that not everyone cooks at home. Am I right? Not everyone loves cooking at home. So I want to take it back a notch and be sure that we're showing you things that are super easy and quick, okay, for everyone. Also, keep in mind, for those of you that are on plan, whenever you move into transition, the goal is that you mimic those lean and green meals that we were working so hard to use at the evening meal. We're going to do that during the lunchtime meal. So it's important to kind of broaden that horizon of what does lean and green look like at lunchtime. And today for the Brinkleys, it's going to look like these yummy chicken bell pepper nachos. And the reason I did chicken, I haven't done chicken in them before, so I thought this will be interesting. And I'm going to make sure that I coat all around those mushrooms. I'll be honest with you, it's all I can do because like I almost instinctively want to put a little salt and pepper on those. So I think I've probably done that before. So note to self, don't salt your mushrooms before you get them browned, or they won't get that nice golden texture, which I think those people who don't like mushrooms might like them more if they were to allow them to get that nice browned texture. So we have got today chicken, and guys, I just want to be real with you. This is canned chicken. And I could have shredded some chicken in the Instapot. Wouldn't have been hard. I probably had some leftover. I could have used some leftover grilled chicken that I had last night. That would have probably worked. Chopped up really fine. But today we're focused on easy, okay? We want it to be easy and attainable for all people. I find that it's most helpful when you're on plan. You gotta have a few of these type of recipes in your back pocket because you're gonna have those nights that get crazy and you have things to do and you get home and like, oh my gosh, what do I cook? I didn't set out anything. Here you go. Here's some canned chicken. Now I did get the premium white meat chicken. You want it to be in water. I believe this one is. It doesn't say that, but oh, it does. In water. Okay, you want it to be in water because you don't want added sodium, okay? The other thing that I wanted to show you, and I left this one, because this is 12.5 ounces, very close. It says 12 ounces on a recipe. We're gonna wing it. We're gonna go with that extra ½ ounce. But be careful, because I had a cheaper brand, only 10 ounces. This would have been really difficult to kind of figure out my serving size. So I just wanted you to know, if you're on plan, when you're looking, be sure to look for all of those components. Low sodium, in water, make sure your ounces are as close as you can to being correct. We don't want to set ourselves up for failure before we even start. Oh my goodness, guys. Even just this right here, if you just learn to appreciate that minimal amount of butter and what real butter and healthy fat will do to a vegetable, you just have such more gratitude for those kind of yummy ingredients, but in moderation. It's so great. I say that moderation over and over again because I was like Paula Deen. I was like stick of butter, block of cream cheese, can of this, can of that. That was how I cooked. And my transformation has shown me that it doesn't have to look that way. So we have 12 ounces of the canned chicken. This is for these yummy bell pepper nachos. Now what I've done is taken almost all of them, and you want to just take the top off and cut them in half. And when you cut it in half, you can just pull that little extra. They're so easy. Some of them don't even need seeding. It just leaves you a nice clean scoop. And so we're gonna put these onto a baking dish. I think the recipe might say like evenly spread or something like that. I kind of want this to just look like a mound of nachos. I'm not gonna lie to you, the Brinkley's nachos are one of our, that's part of our love language. Like, we love nachos. If you've ever been to a party at my house, you know that oftentimes I will do a nacho bar because nacho bars are actually very easy to modify for people that are on plan and yet entertain people who aren't. And so I do nacho bars a lot. And so I want this to look and appear like indulgent, yummy nachos that we are used to having. And so I'm not too worried about putting these out flat. They're kind of mounded up there. It's gonna be a beautiful presentation for lunch. Now, if you look, my mushrooms are starting to get a little bit of a caramely brown coating. And so that's what we want. I'm gonna let those go just a bit longer. Made a little bit of a mess. Okay, so we're back to our chicken dish. Now here's a couple other, I always love to, this is all about easy, right? This recipe is all about easy. Canned chicken, my handy dandy trick of buying the small thing of Greek yogurt. You people that don't want to use Greek yogurt, like, I don't eat this plain Greek yogurt. I don't eat it for breakfast. No flavor. Not going to do it. Do I cook with it? All the time. So I keep these on hand. This is almost exactly a half a cup. Okay, oops. Most of my dishes are about a half a cup portion, so that works out really good. A couple of my things have been 3/4 of a cup, so I've got to dig into another one. But half a cup of Greek yogurt. Here's the magic. We had 12 ounces of chicken. Another portion of the Greek yogurt helps together make up our protein for this recipe. So it's not all coming from the chicken. We're gonna let those keep going because they're, oh, you know what? Right now we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of garlic to that. I will tell you, the chicken dish is all about garlic. It's garlic in every layer. So pull back on that if that is not a flavor that your family loves. But in the Brinkley house, we love a little garlic. Now we're gonna take another easy hack. And that is, I have vented to you often about needing avocados in the market and getting there, and every single one is hard as a rock. And I'm like, dang, don't they know I don't plan ahead? You can catch me at Walmart every Wednesday morning usually. So that is super frustrating. Turns out those are actually ready. Like, I could show you, and those would be beautiful. Couldn't believe that I actually found those this morning. But I want to keep this dish simple, and so I'm going to turn that down just to ensure I don't overcook those. I want to show you this. I think I've shown you before. Just the little carton of avocado. I think it comes in maybe a stack of 6. These are 2 ounces a piece. This dish needs 6 ounces of avocado. I will tell you, just in my experience, especially this kind of dish where we're mixing it all up, it's not a problem. Now, if I was making my chicken enchilada roll-ups where I want to top it with some chunks of avocado, then I would want to use fresh. But this application, this would be a great way to not fret. And once again, this keeps longer, so you get home on a late night, nothing is out, you're ready to go. So I've added that 6 ounces of avocado. And then I'm gonna add half of the cheese. Let me just tell you for sure. It's 2 cups of the low-fat cheddar, okay? One of our locations in town has low-fat cheddar. If you're not in the Stephenville area, look at your grocery store. Sometimes they carry different things. Low-fat mozzarella and Parmesan is a little bit easier to find, a little bit more difficult to find things like part skim ricotta and low-fat cheddar. we're gonna take half of this cheese, so about a cup, and add it into the mixture along with our chili powder. We're gonna give it that nice smoky flavor. It also adds a really cool color. And now, guys, we're gonna take this. Let me make sure I have all of the ingredients. I hate it when I leave off an ingredient for you right here on Facebook. Okay, so we've got this ooey gooey mess here. And I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I could sit here and fill each one. You could do that. I'm not. I'm gonna just dollop this around and just, guys, this is gonna be one of those dishes that you are gonna want to take to a friend's house. You've got friends coming over for the weekend. This is gonna be one of those, they're gonna think you're a rock star. You throw this together for lunch instead of like grab a sandwich and a bag of chips out of the pantry. This is gonna be how you can change the game with your eating. I was just speaking with someone this morning at their weigh-in, and that was what came over me, is that we've got to learn to embrace this life, not as restriction. It has to be that we embrace it because it's good. We embrace it because this is just a fabulous way to eat. Okay, I have to pause for a second because the mushrooms are ready. I turned them down. I'm gonna add a half a cup of chicken broth to that, just to kind of get the ooey gooey off the pan, let that reduce down just a little bit. Now, I believe in the recipe, it doesn't actually tell you what to do with that chicken broth. That is where it should go. There's a little error. If that's posted, I'll try to fix that for you. So we want to keep, guys, this is ample amount of filling. I probably could have used a few more bell pepper pieces in there. I am kind of moving them around to make sure they're scoopable. Think about this like if you were to do a big plate of chips, you would kind of layer it. So you could actually do that as well. Oh my goodness. I am so excited about lunch today. I tell you guys that all the time. We get to eat all of this whenever you guys, I sign off and push stop. Everybody just comes to the kitchen and they're like, are we ready? Are we ready to eat? And it's so fun because we enjoy trying new things. Oh, I did it. I forgot the greatest part. So we're just gonna wing it because that's how we fly. These jalapenos should have been diced in there. Actually, this probably works out better to do it this way for my family because my sweet little college girl will not prefer the jalapenos. So I'm gonna put jalapenos on half of this. Now on the recipe, I will tell you, the recipe calls for diced fresh jalapenos to be sauteed. If that's your thing, then go for it, okay? I actually don't prefer fresh jalapeno over the pickled jalapeno. I love the pickled jalapeno because I think it lets me kind of control the heat. Like I know those pickled jalapenos are just kind of medium heat. They're not gonna set us all on fire. So I've chopped the rest of that cheese. Half of it has jalapenos. I'm gonna put this straight into the oven. When we pull those out, we're gonna top them off with just a little bit of diced green onion. Again, green onion is our friend. It doesn't saute up the same way that a cooked onion, like a yellow onion does, but it definitely fits the bill when we're on a plan, okay? So next up, let me kind of clean up my place here because we're switching gears back to the chicken dish because our mushrooms are nice and ready. If you could just smell this part, it's so good. We're gonna raise the heat just a little bit so that those will reduce down. Now, I've got my just started to bake chicken. Now you could have, like I said, I feel like you could have definitely seared this in a skillet and got a nice coating on that and it would have been just as good. Next up, you wonder where the veggie comes with this chicken dish, guys. 6 cups of spinach. Look how big. You'll be surprised. Well, you won't be surprised if you've cooked spinach before. then you know that it's going to cook way down. We're gonna change our skillet here and go ahead and do a quick swirl of olive oil. You can also, if you're on plan, my recommendation to you is always use the spritz olive oil. That's gonna be the best way to minimize the amount of oil that you're adding to that and keep it within the range that you need it for plan, okay? So we're gonna take this pan, we're gonna go ahead and add in our spinach. That is gonna cook down in just a second. Let me see, I'm gonna add some onion and garlic. And guys, one more very indulgent way to include some healthy fat, this low-fat cream cheese. This is 2 ounces. It's so amazing to me when I look at indulgent recipes now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was just as good, and I didn't blow it. I didn't blow the calories and the intake of my healthy fat by doing that. I can hear this starting to kind of sear a little bit in there, so you want to keep it moving while it kind of wilts down. Again, this is a great time to go ahead now and salt and pepper your mushroom just a smidge. And this is going to cook down so quickly, this spinach. I'm going to show you. I wish I should have set the timer. We're talking like 2 to 3 minutes for it to all cook down. Now I am going to go ahead and add just a smidge. Oh, what do you sub for the spinach? Sorry guys, I didn't see that. If you're really against the green, first of all, as a coach, I'm going to tell you to try it. If you absolutely hate spinach, but you haven't had it this way, I would encourage you to try it. If we've already subbed in, guys, look, that huge amount of spinach is now this itty bitty amount, and I think that's wilted enough. What do you think? What would I do if I wasn't going to do the spinach on it? I mean, obviously, if you're on plan, this is a portion of your green, so you definitely can't just leave it off. You would have to have vegetable. It would be delicious just with the mushrooms and the added mozzarella that we're going to be adding to the top of this. But I definitely would love to see green in there. So maybe even some thinly sliced zucchini or squash in there. If you were to steam some asparagus and then put that across the top and then let that kind of be a topping as well. That would get you some more vegetable in there. But right now we're going to take the spinach and we're going to add 2 ounces of the cream cheese. It's already kind of soft. A little bit of Parmesan cheese, very small portion. I believe it's 1/4 of a cup. Again, that's a little added protein, guys, for you guys on plan. Don't be misunderstood. You know, those protein amounts are calculated for you in the recipe for a reason. So make sure you're getting all the protein that you need. I will be transparent and honest with you. Today, this chicken is about maybe 1/4 of a pound off. I bought it prepackaged, thought it would be what it was, and it wasn't. So I encourage you, on plan, measuring is really, really important. You can get a really inexpensive scale that makes it super easy. And I just feel like I learn a lot and I'm in control of my eating when I take that extra step to know. And most of the time, you will find that you're not eating enough. It's amazing to me, you know, whenever we think we've been in this state of depriving ourselves for so long. If you've been on the weight loss roller coaster of yo-yo dieting up and down, our mind instantly goes to deprive yourself. Our mind instantly goes to smaller portion. In this situation, we want healthy food to fuel our body all day long, to keep our metabolism up and keep us in fat burn. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of green onion to that spinach mixture as well. and a little bit of garlic. I told you the garlic is strong in this recipe, which makes me very happy. We're gonna stick this back on the heat for 2 seconds, just because I want to blend together a few of those last flavors that I added. Now, see, aren't you glad I showed you a really quick and easy? Because this one I feel like has more steps. It's still super easy, but I feel like you're thinking that has too many steps for me to do that. I hope you don't think that, because it's gonna be a beautiful dinner. I am going to take a second and drain off the moisture from this chicken, just to help me get a little bit more of a browned chicken. I'm gonna separate it too. This just barely cooked. Now, for your chicken purposes, you do need to watch and be able to cook your chicken thoroughly to 165 degrees. I believe our recipe states that should be about 12 to 14 minutes. Now here's the beauty. This thing is gonna come together so quick. We're gonna top each one of these chicken breasts with a little mushroom. Oh my goodness. Can you smell this, Dana?
Yes.
This is amazing. I love it when I'm able to cook something so clean and so healthy, and yet still, if I were to go outside and walk back in, it'd be the best smell ever in our house, because this is what good eating should look like. And again, I can't emphasize enough how, I know I already had someone, thank you for reaching out, not liking spinach. Guys, I just encourage you, cook these meals for your family. If we don't show them what healthy eating can look like, they're never gonna know. Now I did, if you follow me on Facebook, you know last night I made an amazing, well, let's not go with amazing. Let's go with, I cleaned out the freezer and I found a few things that needed to be used. And I actually then went to the refrigerator and was like, oh, the broccoli's like on its last leg. It's gonna be in the chicken coop tomorrow. So let's make some broccoli. And I threw grilled chicken, some cauliflower rice, and broccoli on the Blackstone. And we kind of had a makeshift cauliflower chicken fried rice. It was delicious and wonderful. And so I think that's what's the most important thing to instill in our children as they are growing into adults that will also need to know, what does healthy eating look like? And to me, I think eating healthy like this, guys, if you can see this dish, this is fancy town. Like I would have someone come over and this would be the dish I would prepare for them. So easy, few ingredients, full, bursting with flavor, guys. This is going to be amazing. I'm still adding the next greatest ingredient, and that is going to be some mozzarella cheese. I use a lot of mozzarella cheese. You guys know that. Because for one, it makes me feel like I'm eating comfort food. I love cheeses, but I also love cheese in moderation, low-fat mozzarella that can also provide me a source of protein. So again, in the portions, if you're 5-in-1, these portions are calculated for your protein and for your cheese. So if you decide to make this and you think, well, I'm gonna leave the cheese off, it'd be better, right, for me? No, this is part of your protein. So don't do that. And we're gonna top it, with this. I am so excited. This may actually have to be lunch. With just, I believe it's a cup. It's 4 ounces. I actually took the time to weigh this cheese. That's important to do, 4 ounces weighed cheese versus using a cup or a measuring vessel. Sometimes those things can be tricky. So we're gonna trade out and stick this in the oven now, but I wanna show you real quick. Guys, doesn't that look delicious? Who wants to come over? Joy Duke, you need to come over for dinner. But before dinner, guys, we're gonna have these yummy mini bell pepper nachos made with chicken this time. I can count on one hand the ingredients that went in. Make your lean and green food indulgent, delicious. No one needs to be suffering through healthy eating, okay? These are definitely two of my favorite recipes that need to go on your list of recipes that are your go-to favorites. I speak with people every single week about plan. I encourage them and motivate them. And one of my biggest passions behind this plan is that it has to change the way we look at food. It has to change that even in maintenance, this is our go-to. Even in maintenance, we don't fall back to, oh, I'm in maintenance, so I'm not cooking healthy. I can cook however I want to now. No, we just end up back to where we started. So I leave you with that today on this brand new first day of September. So much potential, so many possibilities for you. If you have been looking for a plan and you're struggling with your weight, or maybe you just want to be healthy, maybe you want to jump on board to this plan that literally has transformed my life, but it also has brought me so many wonderful people, sources, resources, and support through an online community. So I would love to share that with you. Feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. And until then, until next week, I should say, next Wednesday, I'll see you at 11 a.m. And until then, be nice.